Protests have been boiling over in China against COVID restrictions nearly 3 years into the COVID-19 pandemic. In Shanghai and in universities across the country, we're hearing of demonstrations, people chanting things like, "Step down, Xi Jinping," "Step down, Communist Party," also chants like, "We don't want COVID tests, we want freedom," and "We don't want dictatorship, we want democracy." Police are arresting people at these protests, trying to send a message to people to stand down and stay home. And there are videos of police dragging away protesters, beating protesters. I won't subject you to them now. Also, recently a deadly fire at an apartment block in Xinjiang killed 10 people and injured 9. And what's being blamed for why so many people were killed and hurt by this was the COVID lockdown measures, which reportedly delayed firefighters from being able to reach the victims. So I'm sure everyone knows that China has maybe the strictest COVID restrictions. They have had those severe restrictions this entire time. And unlike other countries that took the virus very seriously but later eased up the restrictions as vaccines were rolled out and as other treatments were rolled out, China has just been strict this entire time, easing up very little. Like we've seen these places like New Zealand and Australia, for example, that were strict on travel and these other things during much of 2020 and 2021, but then eventually their population was exposed to the virus once it became more manageable. China, on the other hand, has been sticking to COVID zero, aka dynamic COVID, which includes everything from having negative tests required for people to enter a business or public place, to government-supervised quarantines, to lockdowns when cases are detected in significant enough numbers. Even just this year, there were, of course, lockdowns in Shanghai, and there was also that shutdown that took place a few weeks ago at Disney World. It seems like just with all of these restrictions, with how long it's been going on, people are just reaching their boiling point, and certainly policies like these can last a lot longer in a place like China than they could in the United States. I mean, here in the U.S., people threw a fit because they had to wear masks in public for longer than 2 weeks. It became more than just 2 weeks to slow the spread, so people went ballistic. Over in China, they've been dealing with this stuff for a lot longer and much more severe restrictions. People, I think, just ultimately only have so much patience for this, and the other problem that Xi Jinping has right now is that he has to ease up on restrictions to keep people happy, while at the same time not make it look like the Chinese government is changing its mind, because that could lower their credibility in terms of how they see it. Like I would view this as like, okay, well, he's just looking at how COVID has changed. It's not killing as many people. We have the tools to deal with it, so it makes sense that the government would switch their position. But in China, the sort of idea is that if he decides to back off of COVID zero, then it would suggest that he was wrong to institute it in the first place, and so they have to stick with this zero tolerance approach to COVID, even as it may end up looking like more and more of a failure and not sustainable anymore. So Xi Jinping is backed into a corner. The entire country has to respond by doing these protests. I've seen people talk about how protests in China are common, but long-lasting protests and protests in so many places throughout the country are much, much less common, and we'll see if this is able to stand up. In terms of the numbers, China is recording about 3,000 new COVID cases a day, which is a lot more than they were admitting to, at least, earlier on in the pandemic. Like there was times where there was this little surge at the beginning of this year, but during much of the time when the world was dealing with the most severe COVID outbreaks, China wasn't having too much of a problem with it, which is crazy to see because they have a population of 1.4 billion people, and they would say, oh, well, we only had 100 new cases today or 200 new cases today, and people either suspect that they were so strict with their lockdowns and COVID measures that they were able to achieve that. Other people say they were clearly fudging the numbers, but regardless of what they were doing before, now they're saying 3,000 is the number that they're getting just about every day. It's hard to predict where this story is going to go next, especially because protests so often in China are short-lived, but at the same time, this COVID zero policy seems unsustainable, and it seems like COVID is not going to be completely eradicated, at least not anytime soon, and so the government of China will eventually have to adapt and bring about some changes. But the question is, will a bunch of people be jailed and maybe killed before that happens, or will there be some sort of a sensible policy change that comes to China in the near future. I'm rooting, of course, for some sort of peaceful ending to this all, to still take the virus very seriously, but to ease up on the restrictions because it seems like after 3 years, people are just not willing to deal with it anymore.
Parents in the audience, if you're like me, you're looking for fun, new things to do with your kids, meaningful, enriching, but fun enough to keep them engaged. Every month, our sponsor, Mel Science, sends you a box with science experiments that combine hands-on physical components with virtual and augmented reality. Learning science doesn't need to be boring. It doesn't need to be difficult. Many kids are hands-on learners who absorb the most through activities like these. It's perfect for homeschooling, ages 5 through high school, 5 different subscriptions to choose from: chemistry, physics, STEM, math, or medicine. Mel Science sent me the Chemistry of Monsters box, where you grow a black monster from sugar and make a huge foam eruption in a flask. But you're actually learning about carbon dioxide and unstable carbonic acid. We had a ton of fun with it. The VR components are awesome too. It is really clear how this helps kids tune into what they are learning. And my audience gets 50% off your first month. Go to melscience.com and use the code PACMAN. The link is down below.